Today's review is for a beer which I've got big high expectations for. This is a Hop City, made specifically for the Hop City 2021 Hop Forward Beer Festival that's happening this year. And this is from Northern Monk, but also Zagovor and the Other Half breweries. But what's it going to be like? Let's keep on watching to find out. Welcome back to Rocker's Beer Review. Today's beer is one of the new beers from this month's haul from the Fuss Club. This is called Hop City, the Resurrection. The Resurrection. And it is a specially made beer for Hop City 2021, which is taking place this year on the 11th and the 12th of July. This video will probably come out, I hope it will come out around about that sort of time, but obviously it's not happened yet. But this is a Northern Monk, and it's one of their special sort of I don't know, it's not really a patron's project, but it's obviously has this outlay that outfolds, and you get lots of information about the brewer, about what it's all about. It's got all the people that's going to be at Hop City on the 9th and 10th of July. It's going to be in Leeds. It's a celebration of the humble hop. Hop City brings some of the leading masters of brewing from around the world and the UK. And let's say this is being brewed by Northern Monk, but also in collaboration with the Other Half, which is a US brewery, and also Zagovor. I'm not quite sure where they're from. I think they're somewhere in Europe. They're probably a European brewery. It's 7.4%. It's a double dry hop IPA, but it's an interesting one because we've got some new hops in here. We've got the new CRYOPOP, which we've got a few beers this month with the CRYOPOP. This will be the first one that I've tried with CRYOPOP in. It's also got Talus, which is another beer, another hop that's being used. It's sort of like, it seemed to be the sort of sister hop to Sabro, so I'm interested in what that's all about. And it's also got an HB586, an experimental hop. It's all brewed with Yakima Chief hops. These are where the hops come from. Yeah, so let's crack open. I'm going to actually give it a quick read. So while the festival itself gives us a whole weekend of catching up and reminiscing, this beer is about looking to the future, with Yakima Chief providing the brand new CRYOPOP and Talus CRYOPOP hops, as well as the still experimental HBC586 variety, which combine with Citra Mosaic and Idaho 7 for a double dry hopped IPA packed with tropical and orchard stone fruit aromas, citrus underlying layer of piney dankness. There's a lot going on in this beer. I mean, I love these. I love that. This is what more breweries should be doing, sort of like, artwork that it goes beyond just the can and has this sort of extra part on it as well. So let's put it open. I've talked enough about it. Let's see whether this is, I feel like I've over egged this beer a little bit, built it up. So let's just hope it's going to be a good one, shall we? As I say, these new hops, I'm not even sure what we're going to expect from this, but 7.4% is quite high on the ABV. It's obviously a double dry hop, so it's not a double IPA, but look at that in the glass. That looks pretty damn good. So it's a peachy, orange, very, very thick looking, I mean, I wouldn't say that's the custard sort of colour. That's literally like pure gold, really. We've got 3 fingers of just off white, but very compacted head. I'm already getting loads of aromas. It's a real juice bomb, this one. But let's get stuck into the aromas. It's just a big tropical sort of aroma, really. It's such a punch to it that there's nothing that sort of jumps out. There's a lot. I can get a lot of mango. I'm getting peach and apricot. There's citrus fruits in there. There's a bit of grapefruit and pineapple. I've just put it up my nose. That's why I'm trying to get the sniff of it. Smells really, really good. I can't wait. Let's tuck in. Cheers, everyone. Oh, there's a lot of flavour in there. It's got a nice sort of earthy, chewy, slight sort of dankness. So what we're getting in terms of flavours, big on mango, and then there's a lot of sort of big stone fruit flavours, peaches and apricots. Yeah, I mean, it's quite sort of strong. There's so much flavour in there that it almost like it's a little bit overwhelming to really see what the flavours are about, if I'm breaking them down. Yeah, I mean, considering it's got the different hops in it, the new ones like the Talus, which I haven't had before, and the CRYOPOP. If you had told me that it had, you know, if it had like a combination of Galaxy Idaho 7, Citra Mosaic Forever, I would have, you know, I would have said, yeah, that's fine. I'm not really picking up much different in terms of those hops. There's nothing in there that's going, oh, that's a bit different. Talus, because it's apparently a bit like Sabro, so you get the coconut and the pineapple, and I'm not really, that's not really coming through. There's a big, earthy, thick sort of flavour that is so sort of enveloping of your mouth. It sort of, it almost overpowers in terms of the flavour. Really what I'm getting, those big hits of those sort of mangoes and peaches with a bit of apricot in there. And that sort of, those stone fruits really sort of overwhelm the flavour. Not in a bad way though, it's a really hoppy beer, you know, there's a lot of hops going into this beer. It's almost like you can get a little bit of there's a little bit of burn on the back, you know, which is not, I wouldn't say it was alcohol, it's definitely that hop burn. There's a lot of hops in it. Now this is obviously brand new. Let's see if it's got the date on it actually. Oh yeah, here we go, there's the date. So it's best before the 21st of the 10th. This year, so that's, you know, that's got quite a short best before date, but it doesn't actually say when it was canned. I would have thought that because obviously this has just been made, it probably was canned within the last sort of month, so it's quite fresh. But it's, in terms of the mouthfeel, I mean, you can see just by looking at it, you can see how thick that beer is. I mean, there's not much of a head. The head's pretty much disappearing, but it's a real velvety, thick beer. Lots of hops, lots of oats, lots of flavours. But I do find that with stone fruit flavours, they can dominate a beer. They can really dominate the beer. So you're not getting that nice sort of freshness from, say, you know, from like a citra hop. You're not getting that citrus fruits. You're not getting much in the way of grapefruit. You're not getting much in the way of sort of lemons. You're not getting anything in terms of orange really in there. It's really about those peaches and mangoes. That's an apricot. So they're the big flavours. So, I mean, obviously it says here, you've got the CRYOPOP, you've got the Talus Cryo hops, you've got Citra, you've got Mosaic, you've got Idaho, and you've got this experimental hop as well, HB586. But really, it's a real thick, juicy juice bomb. It's the sort of thing that you expect, you know, from Polly's, and it's almost got that sort of flavour profile of a double IPA. It doesn't taste its 7.4%. It you know, that's pretty well hidden. It's just because it's got so much packed full of hops and fruit flavours. It's really, really nice. I wouldn't call it refreshing. It's a real sort of chewy, slightly dank, overly hop forward beer, but it's still pretty cracking. So if you can get hold of this, then I would definitely try it. And if you've had it already, let me know in the comments. It won't be around long. I know when I bought it from the Fuss Club, they literally released it within like an hour. It sold out, and then but they got some more in, and I thought that's when I sort of pulled the trigger and bought it. So it may be sold out, but if you see it in any of your bottle shops, or, I mean, if you go to the Hop City 2021, you know, unfortunately I'm not going, but, and I'm presuming it is still on for July, even though they've changed obviously the social distancing and the lockdown thing. So maybe it has been delayed. I have a feeling now that actually it's been delayed till August, but maybe that's another one that's been delayed to August. But if you do go, if it's still on, give this a go, because it's a really, really big hoppy beer. It's what craft beer is all about. People say to me, what's craft beer all about? Give me your best example. Give me something that really sort of shows what it's about. Then this is it. I mean, you just have to look at it in the glass. Looks spectacular. Big hop forward beer. Let's get some scores. Okay, the scores are in for Northern Monk's Hop City, specially brewed Resurrection, double dry hop IPA. Obviously this is by Northern Monk, but it's also by the other half and Zagovor, 2 other breweries as well. It's a really cracking beer, but let's go through the scores. So first things first, aroma. Well, as soon as you open up, you know, there's such a massive tropical aroma, but it's really moving more towards a sort of stone fruit sort of aroma in terms of your peaches, your mangoes, apricot. Those sort of aromas are really big. It's a nice smelling beer. It's a double dry hop. There's full of big aromas in there. So I'm giving it 15 for aroma. Appearance wise, well, what's left of it, it's a beautiful colour. It's absolute stunning colour. Yeah, I mean, the head doesn't sort of stick around for that long. But in terms of the colour, I think it's pretty good. So I'm giving it an 8 for appearance. Flavour wise, well, like the aromas, you've got a big stone fruit sort of flavour. It does remind me of those real big hop forward beers that we get from Polly's, you know, the double dry hop IPAs, you know, even the double IPAs. It's at the high end of an IPA at 7.4%. If you told me it was a double, yeah, I mean, I could agree with you really, because it's got that sort of punch to it. It's got the chewiness, the slight dankness, you know, there's not much, it doesn't drink like a high ABV beer. It's 7.4%, it's still quite high. It's very smooth on the mouth. It's velvety, it's a real thick, chewy beer, but it's a stunning example of what craft beer is all about. So I'm giving it 35 for flavour. Value for money, well, this one cost me just over a £5, so it's not the cheapest, but it has got loads of all these different experimental hops and new hops in there. It's a collaboration with 3 breweries. It's 7.4%. There's a lot of hops going into this beer, so I'm giving it a solid 8 for value. And then my overall experience, it's a really lovely beer. It doesn't give you that sort of refreshment that you sometimes want, or a lot of the time you want from a beer. It's a very the sort of beer that you sit and sip and savour every mouthful, because every mouthful that you taste, you're getting a little bit more of that flavour. I think the only disappointing bit about it is that it's got Talus that I've not had. The Talus was in the Cloud Water collaboration box with the alcohol-free one, but I'm not really sort of counting that for flavour. I haven't really had Talus in a normal sort of beer. The CRYOPOP, which I've got a couple of examples, I wouldn't know that that's in there, and the other experimental. If you had said it's got Citra, Mosaic and Idaho 7, the 3 sort of hops that we know, I would have said, yeah, I agree with them. You know, I'm not getting much from those other hops, which is a little bit disappointing. It's almost like it's got too much flavour in that they sort of are counteracting each other, and the real sort of individual flavour profiles don't come through as much. So it's an enjoyable beer. It's a really good beer. You know it's a good beer, and you know it's got good quality ingredients in it. So I'm giving it 14 from my overall experience. So we top those scores up, and I'm proud to say it's a highly recommended beer. We just about get to it, 80. So this is an 80 out of 100. It's an Iron Maiden. It's the heaviest of heavy metal. It is a heavy metal beer because there's so much hops in there. It's an overpowering beer. If you don't like hop forward beers, then you probably won't like it that much. It's very much in that sort of stone fruit flavour arena, really. I'd like a little bit more freshness in terms of my beer, a little bit more zesty citrus notes, which I don't really get from this. I'm just looking here, and it's the IBU is 22. That's the International Bittering Index. It's probably a bit for a sort of New England style. It's probably at the higher level in terms of 22. But you're getting a lot of flavour there. I wouldn't say there's bitterness really. It's just got that little bit of earthy dankness on the back end really. It's a great beer, and at 80, yeah, you should definitely seek this out. So if you see this one, give it a try. Let me know in the comments if you've had it already and what you think about it. Are you going to Hop City 2021? Is it still going to be in July, or have they moved it back? I have a feeling it's been moved back. But if it is on, then I hope, let us know how you get on there and what you think. What beers are you trying? I want to see more of these new hops. I'm looking forward to some of the other ones that we've got coming up. From North Brewery, which is a CRYOPOP, and also the York the York brewery as well, Brew York, sorry, with their sort of wrestling themed one, Scotty 2 Hoppy. So that one's also got CRYOPOP in it. So I'm interested to see if I can get more out of those flavours. This is still a good beer though. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up and a like. You know, if you like the video, you like the content I'm providing. There's lots of new beers that we've got coming through this month. Hopefully you've seen the unboxing video and you see there's quite a lot of different new beers and, as I said, new sort of hops used in some of these beers. But I hope you enjoyed it, and until the next one, you know what you're going to do. Keep on rocking.